My name is Rhoda from the Financial Aid Office, and just going to kind of highlight some things for you, an overview of the financial aid process as you're considering returning to Dominguez Hills to complete your degree. I think it's very informative for you, so I'm just going to move right along. And then at the end, we will answer any questions that you have. Okay, so here we go. Once a Toro, always a Toro. Financial aid overview. Right, let me click that. So what are we going to cover? So just a couple of topics, not a long presentation. First and foremost, a key resource for you is using the Financial Aid Office website. So I'm going to just highlight some things there. Going to talk about types of aid that's available. You may be somewhat familiar, but it's just worth a quick little overview. And number 3, talking about that financial aid process. So just coming back into it, what you need to do with those applications, some common mistakes to avoid. We're going to go through the frequently asked questions. We actually had some great questions that came through to Sabrina. So we've built that in so that it could benefit the whole group. And then we're just going to recap a couple of things. All right. So a key resource, the Financial Aid and Scholarship Office webpage. So here is a view of our webpage, and for your convenience, you have the actual web link in addition to the QR code if you want to hold your phone up to it and bookmark it. But you can see the overview of our webpage. And you can see on the left-hand side, we have a variety of links for our different resources that I'm going to highlight. When you first join the webpage, you have our announcements, and you can see there's links to the FAFSA and CalDream Act web pages there. And then you also have the tiles if you're looking from your phone. Okay. Let's see. So for our web page, you can see that why is this so important? So we have our announcements. So if we have any federal updates, the FAFSA CalDream Act application links, forms, if there's anything that you need to submit to us, right? One of our forms, you can access it from our website. Satisfactory Academic Progress, several questions related to that for returning students, but our criteria is on our webpage. Scholarships, we want to encourage you to apply for them. There's several campus-based scholarships. You can apply through your portal. All of that information is there. When it comes to types of aid, I'm just going to do like a high overview of it, but there's so many nuances to the different types of aid. So you would want to actually go to our website to get all the detailed information. Okay. Then we have our workshops. Our application help sessions are very useful. We have in-person sessions, Zoom sessions, financial wellness sessions to talk about budgeting, credit cards, identity theft, how to avoid it, understanding credit, how to save, money management, navigating your student center. We have several. Distance learning, different types of aid for distant learning programs, and we have some specifics there. And in case you didn't know, there are opportunities for students who are attending winter sessions, spring intersessions, summer. So we have a whole web page committed to that. And then last but not least, Financial Aid TV. And there's a link for that and the QR code for Financial Aid TV. That one, guys, has a lot of great useful videos related to types of aid, Satisfactory Academic Progress, finance, budgeting, personal finance, credit cards, debt management, loan repayment. It's all there. And what I really like about Financial Aid TV is that some of the videos are just might be 30 seconds. Or it might be a minute, or it can be up to like 4 minutes, just depending on the topic. But if you want like some quick information about a topic, Financial Aid is a great, Financial Aid TV is a great resource. Okay, let's see. So about Satisfactory Academic Progress, and we'll get a little bit more into it with your questions, but students have to be meeting Satisfactory Academic Progress to maintain their eligibility for aid. We monitor grades and unit completion at the end of each semester. What are the 3 categories that we specifically monitor? GPA, unit completion, and total attempted units. Okay. And then for more information, again, here's our web link. You can also use the QR code to get to that page and bookmark it if you want. If anyone viewing this video, if you were disqualify from receiving aid due to Satisfactory Academic Progress, there may be a way for you to appeal. And we'll discuss a little bit more during the frequently asked questions, but don't be discouraged by that. Okay. All right. Types of aid available. So there are 5 categories of financial aid. You have federal grants, okay, you have state grants, you have scholarships, you have federal loans, you have federal work study. Okay, just remember that grants are the free money that does not have to be repaid. Scholarships are also free money that does not have to be repaid. It may require a separate application. Okay, loans are considered self-help. So they are also a form of financial aid and a resource, but once you either graduate or leave school or drop below half-time enrollment, then you're subject to repayment beginning after your grace period ends. And then lastly, there's federal work study, another form of self-help, another funding opportunity, and you just earn that money through part-time employment. Okay, so scholarship opportunities. Just want to take a moment just to talk about it. And again, encourage you guys to apply for scholarships. Don't be discouraged from applying. Not all scholarships are just based on grades. There's just like so many opportunities out there for you. On the Dominguez Hills side, we have our own set of institutional scholarships. They're departmental scholarships. The best way to get started is to actually go to our webpage and select the scholarship link, and you can usually apply for most scholarships using your CSUDH scholarship portal. On a rare exception, there are some departments that have their own separate application process, but for many of them, you'll be able to apply online using your scholarship portal. In the center there, we encourage you to attend a financial wellness workshop. Shameless plug, because I coordinate those. We offer a variety of different topics, okay? And one in particular is on how to apply for scholarships, how to find the free money for college. And we also show you how to use a scholarship search engine, give you some tips on how to write an essay. So it's a very good session, I think. So encourage you to join us for that. We offer them every semester, and you can register online from our workshops page. And thirdly, just talking about scholarship search engines, sometimes applying for scholarships can be a little bit overwhelming, right? If you're just trying to do it all on your own and you're just trying to search like, okay, should I apply for this, apply for that? If you sign up for a search engine of your choice, right? The search engine will basically, you create your profile, your interest, your major and whatnot. And then that search engine will either give you a list of different scholarships you can apply for or email you periodically on scholarships you can apply for. So it kind of helps. I encourage you to do your research, read and do your research before you sign up for a search engine. And here's another tip that we shared during the session is that sometimes you can get a lot of information on different scholarships. So you might want to create a separate email for yourself just to use for your scholarship applications. Okay, that way those notices that you're getting won't interfere with your personal regular email. Just a little tip. And then lastly there, just remember the information is out there for free. You shouldn't have to pay anything for it. So beware of scams, because there's too many resources out there for you when applying for scholarships that are for free. Okay, so the financial aid application process, if you've applied before, this will just be a quick little recap. So the first one is the FAFSA application, the free application for federal student aid. You can go to www.studentaid.gov to apply. Looking at the bullets there, U.S. citizens and eligible non-citizens may submit the FAFSA. Applicants are considered for both federal and state aid. You must reapply for each new academic year. And you have to reapply for each new academic year. The priority filing period is October 1st to March 2nd. Okay, so just make sure you do that. And then if you're a returning user, you can see on the webpage that it's either a new user or returning user. And the next application is the California DREAM Act application. And here's the website is above it, dream.csat.ca.gov. Students are eligible to apply if they meet the AB 540 requirements. Applicants are considered just for state aid and any scholarships that they're eligible for. And again, you have to reapply for each new academic year. Same filing period as the FAFSA, October 1st through March 2nd. So if anyone's considering returning for the upcoming term, make sure you've done your application. What is the basic information that's needed? Well, all students have to have their own login. If someone is a dependent student, at least one parent will need to sign the application, have their own login. Information, the income information that's needed will, if you want to have your tax documents in front of you, or your W-2s, okay, giving your school code 001141, okay. On the Cal Dream Act application, just know that the application will ask for your Social Security number if you have one, or your I-10 number, individual taxpayer identification number. If you don't have it, it's okay to leave it blank. The application will also ask you for your statewide student identification number, SSID. You will only have a 10-digit SSID card or number if you attended a California public school. Otherwise, if you don't have it, just leave it blank. Just a couple of tips here. Each application has their own virtual assistant. So the FAFSA has their OWL, where you can engage with the app and ask them questions or whatnot, get some help. And in the Cal Dream Act application has the, in the lower right-hand corner, it'll have the little graduate icon there, okay? Okay, and then lastly, closing this out for this particular piece of it, the financial aid application help sessions. Again, we offer them every semester, fall and spring. We offer in-person sessions and Zoom sessions. So if you just visit our website under the workshops link, you'll always have the most current information for the semester. Okay, and then the QR code will just take you straight to our webpage for the workshops. Okay. All right. Common mistakes to avoid. I think this will close it out. This always helps. You want to avoid listing incorrect Social Security number, incorrect name or date of birth, so no nicknames. You want to make sure that your name is matching your Social Security card if you have one. For the parents with no SSN, you want to avoid using numbers other than 0. So if your parents don't have an SSN and you're required to put in parent information because you're a dependent student, just put in zeros, okay? Let's see. For dependent students, avoid entering your parents' income as your own. We've seen that. That will raise your family contribution amount. It could weed you out of receiving some forms of need-based aid. So just make sure you're reporting your income as your income, your parents' income as their income. Let's see, you also want to avoid reporting the incorrect marital statuses, especially for parents. We have seen that where students may report that their parents are married, but we find out that they're single because they filed single, or vice versa. So just make sure you're reporting the correct marital status. We try to tell students, if you're not sure, just verify with your parents first before submitting your application. You also want to avoid not signing your application. Just remember the signatures are required. Why is that listed here under a common mistake to avoid? Because we see it. Okay, so you do want to make sure that you sign your application, whichever one you're doing, the FAFSA or the Cal Dream Act application. And if you're a dependent student, make sure your parent signature has been applied as well. Okay. And then lastly, avoid reporting the wrong degree program. Sometimes that could hold up processing. So if you're an undergraduate student, okay, you don't want to, and you're working on your first bachelor's degree, you don't want to report on the FAFSA, but that you're going to be pursuing a master's degree. Okay, that will hold up processing because there's a mismatch between degree objective. All right, so now let's get into the frequently asked questions that we got. And like I said earlier, we did get some really good ones. So I think that the responses will help others who are thinking of returning. So there are about 10 questions. So the first one, how much do I owe the school before I return? So answer, how do you find that information? Well, to determine how much you owe, you may call the Student Financial Services Office, and their number is 310-243-3780. The QR code in the lower right-hand corner will take you to their webpage, so you can have direct access to their webpage, their contact information, and the services that they provide. Okay, you can also, if you've already been readmitted and you have access to your student center, when you log into my CSUDH, okay, if you go to your student center, select that student center icon, in the finances section, you will be able to see any balance that you owe the university. Okay. Okay. Number 2, does my past due balance have to be paid before I can re-enroll in classes? The answer is yes. Any past due balance that's owed must be repaid before you re-enroll. The financial holds are placed by the university cashier's office and student financial services. They are the ones that place those holds, not our office. Okay. But if you see that you have a financial hold, you want to look at the description. Okay, that 4th bullet there, because that description will indicate whether or not there's a hold on your enrollment. Okay. So after a certain amount of time, they do put a hold on your enrollment, and they do expect that or would like that to be paid back before that hold is released, and then you can actually enroll in classes. 2 little bullets at the end there, the additional note. Financial aid funds for a current term may not be used to pay for a prior term. Okay. What's a prior term balance? So here's an example. So let's say you're going to become a fall 2023. Right? So, and you're offered aid for fall 2023. Well, that money cannot be used to pay a past due balance if for spring 2021, if that was your last term of attendance. Okay, that's just an example for illustration. Okay, financially for a current term may not be used to pay that prior term balance. So you're going to have to make that payment or sort something out with student financial services. All right, number 3. I was previously disqualified due to not meeting SAP, Satisfactory Academic Progress. Can I still apply for aid? The answer is yes. In most cases, a student previously disqualified due to not meeting SAP can just appeal for aid consideration. Okay, that appeal will come to the financial aid office. Now, 2nd bullet, if a previous SAP appeal was submitted and approved, and you did not meet those conditions of that prior approval, what I want you to do is call our office so you can speak with a representative directly, and let's discuss your options on that. Okay. And then here's a link for our website, and the QR code will take you there as well. And I'm sorry, it takes you to the actual appeal form itself. Okay. Number 4, if I was not meeting the minimum SAP standards at my community college, will this affect my eligibility at CSU Dominguez Hills? The answer is no. If you were not meeting SAP at your community college, this will not affect your eligibility for aid at Dominguez Hills. Okay. Number 5 here. Okay. If I owe a past due balance for a federal grant or loan overpayment, will this affect my eligibility for financial aid? Well, short answer to that is yes. Any applicant with a federal grant, federal loan overpayment, okay, are deemed ineligible for aid until that issue has been resolved. Okay, so that was an excellent question, I thought. So in a situation like that, and if you're confused on what to do, just call or visit us so that you can actually speak with a representative. We can look at your record and give you guidance on how to proceed to get that resolved. Okay, number 6, if I was not meeting SAP at CSUDH due to unit deficiency, can the courses that I completed at a community college clear that deficiency? Okay, so here's that answer. So in some instances, I repeat, in some instances, yes. Units transferred from a community college can clear a unit deficiency from a prior term. Okay, what are the basic requirements on that? Okay, so first, it only applies to undergraduate students. Okay, so not credential or graduate professional students. The second bullet there, students must not have already transferred in 70 units. So there's a 70 unit cap for transfer units to be considered. And then the units must be transferred from a term that was after the term that the unit deficiency occurred. I'm giving you an example of that. So let's say the unit deficiency was from fall 2021. So to clear a unit deficiency from fall 2021, a student transfers in units that were completed for this semester, spring 2023. That's cool because the units were completed after. Okay, the student actually had their deficiency with our office. Yes, that can clear the unit deficiency. Just let us know. We'll check it out. Clear your record. Okay. Now, for students who have already met or exceeded that 70 unit transfer limit, I don't want you to be discouraged. Just contact us. Let us look at your record and then discuss your options. Okay. Okay. Number 7, as a returning student, what forms do I need to reapply for aid? Well, answer first bullet. You just must initially just complete your application. Complete that FAFSA or the CalDream-backed application. Okay, depending on which one you're eligible to submit. You want to report your income for the current, the tax year that they're asking for on the application. And lastly there, once the application processing begins, if there's any additional documentation needed, okay, the items will appear on your to-do list, and we will also send you an email notification. It'll be a generic notification to your CSUDH student email account, just alerting you that we need something else from you, and it will direct you to go to your to-do list. And when you go to the to-do list, when you click on the little more link, it'll give you the details of the items that we're requesting. Okay. All right, number 8. I think I have exhausted my aid eligibility. What other financing options are available? Get that question a lot, actually. Okay, so answers, plural, okay? So first, I'm giving you some examples here based on what we've seen. So if your federal Pell Grant eligibility has been exhausted, then what? So there could be state university grant and federal direct loans may be available to you. You can also apply for scholarships. Okay, next one in the center. If your federal direct loan borrowing limit has been reached, we've seen that, then, okay, you can be considered for grants, federal or state. You can still apply for scholarships. You can apply for private educational loans. Okay, so just because you've hit that borrowing limit on the direct loans doesn't mean there's not other aid you can be considered for. And then lastly, the third one there, if all federal and state grant limits have been met or reached. Okay, so then what are your options? Well, again, you can apply for scholarships. You can apply for private educational loans. And then if that's not something that you're interested in doing, there's also installment payment plans. So there will be a way for you guys to finish your degree program in that scenario just by picking an option there, just making, especially making payments. The university does offer payment plans. Okay, number 9, if I only need a few more classes to graduate, can I still qualify for financial aid? The answer is yes, but with a but. So yes, but depending on your aid eligibility and unit enrollment. Okay, so here's some bullets to kind of expand on that. So you must have not reached the funding limits for federal. Have a slide on that, right? You must be enrolled at least half-time. Okay, that depends on if you're coming back as an undergraduate student, a credential student, or a graduate professional student. Okay, half-time enrollment. You must be meeting the funding rules in accordance with the types of aid that are being offered, because there's different sort of rules for different types of aid. And then you must be meeting the minimum SAP standards. Okay, so this is not to discourage you. Definitely apply. Okay, so that we can actually determine your aid eligibility to help you finish up your program. Okay. Last one, number 10. If I have reached the unit cap limit, can I still qualify for financial aid to complete my degree? Answer, So students who have reached that UNICAP limit can submit a SAP appeal for aid consideration. So, and it happens quite often for all different levels, whether it's undergrad, credential, or graduate professional. Okay, so don't be discouraged, just go ahead and submit that SAP appeal. If you need to determine, hey, have I reached that limit because I'm not sure, what can you do to actually see it? Well, some instructions here. You want to log into my CSUDH. You can go to your student center, and either under the finances tab or the financial aid section, okay, you should see an option to view academic progress SAP. Okay, again, you're going to see a link to view academic progress SAP. You're going to select it. You're going to go to the most current semester. Okay, and then you'll be able to get the view of where you stand on all three categories. GPA, unit completion, total completed units is what you're going to be looking at to see if you've reached the UNICAP. Okay, and then at the end of the day, if you have any questions, just call or visit us, and then we'll help guide you through. All right, information recap, and then we'll open it up for questions. All right, so recap. So here are your Post-it notes, your personal Post-it notes. So you want to remember to always reapply for each new academic year, and just try to make sure you're doing that between October 1st and March 2nd. We encourage you to take advantage of our financial aid application help sessions, because we're there. We'll help you through the getting it done, whether it's through a Zoom session or in person. Again, past due balances have to be paid before you re-enroll in classes. Overpayments for any federal grants or federal loans must be resolved before you can be offered aid. If you are not meeting SAP, okay, you should not be deterred. Okay, you may be able to submit a SAP appeal for aid consideration. Apply for scholarships. Use a scholarship search engine that can help. Attend one of our financial wellness sessions on how to find that free money. We'll help guide you through that process so that it's not so overwhelming. Let's see, also just use that My CSUDH, use your student center. And because you can look at your account balance, you can look at your SAP status, you can look at your holds, your to-dos, you can look at your financial aid awards, your account, overall account activity. Lots of information accessible for you on your student center. And then lastly, we'll close it out, again, giving you a little plug for using our webpage and Financial Aid TV. Okay. And we'll open it up for questions. I am leaving you with the contact information for the Financial Aid and Scholarship Office, as well as Student Financial Services. Our offices are related and we interact with each other, but we do have separate roles and responsibilities. So in this slide, I am pointing out to you that for the Financial Aid Office, we'll help you with the application, your eligibility, SAP questions. Student Financial Services, they're all about your student account. So balances owed, payments, and installment plans. Okay, with that, I'm all done. Sabrina?
All right, thank you so much, Rhoda. So if you have any questions for Rhoda, our financial aid expert, feel free to turn your camera on, raise your hand, unmute yourself, and this is that opportunity to get your answers. If you have something that's more specific to your case, we can give it a couple minutes afterwards and save a little private time for that. But any general questions that you may have about her presentation or about coming back and how financial aid would work for a returning student. It looks like, Rhoda, I don't see any questions. Anybody? Edgar.
Or Edward, were you going to try to?
Edward, did you have a
Maybe
question?
not.